Hey, Damion, welcome. How are you?
Michael, good. It's good to see you, man.
Hey, I brought you on because you told me there's some tax changes that went in effect January 1st that people really need to know about. Now, you're not a CPA or a tax attorney, anything like that, but you know a lot about taxes. And one of the reasons we bring you on is because we are advising all of our passive investors to migrate their IRA to what's called an EQRP. And we're not going to talk about in detail about that today, but there's some flaws with the IRA where you actually can pay taxes in your IRA, and you can avoid that by moving to the EQRP. And so as a result of that, I know that you know a lot about taxes and tax changes. So can you just brief us really quickly on what happened January 1st that people really need to know about?
Yeah, there's a major overhaul, first time in 13 years. So it was a pretty big deal with the retirement code. It's called the Secure Act. And basically what happened, the biggest part of this was that when you set up a retirement account, usually you set it up and you can only set it up in the year that it is. So like if you want a 2019 plan where you can make contributions, you have to set it up in 2019. What happened is Congress said, okay, we're going to let you set up a plan in 2020 for 2019. And basically what that means is if you're sitting here looking at your tax bill because you made too much money in 2019, usually tax planning means you have to do something in advance. And what they said is you can actually set up a plan now in like April or even down the road. Before you file your taxes for 2019, you can set up a plan for 2019 and make a contribution. So you can reduce your taxable burden now for last year, which has never been able to be done before. But that means like if you made a couple $100,000 in 2019 and you go, oh no, I have no more write-offs, we could set up a plan now and you could have another $57,000 in write-offs for last year, even though it's 2020.
And when you're talking a plan, you're talking about the EQRP plan.
The EQRP retirement plan. Yeah.
Which one, among other benefits, addresses the UBIT or the taxation in your IRA when you invest with that? But it sounds like there's some other benefits as well. All right. So what else is new?
So one of the things that they want to do is they want to cover more people. So they said, if you have employees and you have a retirement account, a type of 401k, like some people have solo 401ks, you have to cover those part-time employees. Well, that becomes a problem if you have a solo because the solo blows up. So it made solos less and less appealing, which is why the EQRP is so valuable because it covers employees part-time or full-time whenever you need to. So that was a big deal that anybody that works 10 hours or more a week, which is a part-time employee, is now required to be covered when they're working with you for a period of time. So that was a big deal too.
That is a big deal. So that's actually not good for an employer necessarily, unless they want to cover them. But it sounds like now they have to.
Yeah, and what it means is that if you're going to have employees and you want to have this deduction, even part-time employees, the EQRP is your best friend, and really it's the only game in town at this point because of that change. So big deal. Okay. The limits in terms of what you can put in bumped up a little bit. Kind of always happens. So now they're at 57,000, and the way that they paid for this, we'll jump to the last one. It used to be that you could inherit an IRA or you could use this for estate planning for like 25 years. This has been a thing where you build up a big IRA or a 401k and then somebody inherits it and they can spend it their whole life. It was called a stretch IRA. They killed that, meaning if you inherit something or you give it to someone when you die, they have to spend it within 10 years. So that's how they paid for all these changes. And ultimately, the reason that we love this, the reason that you share this with everybody is because of the Ubud tax. And I mean, that's like the big IRA disaster zone that we always want to talk about and make sure people know about.
Yeah, exactly right. So what most people probably don't know is that with a self-directed IRA, most likely you will be taxed at the very end when we sell a building because of this Ubud tax. I don't want to get into details, but it's shocking. I went through it like 15 years ago when I passively invested in a deal, and I had to create tax IDs for my IRA for crying out loud, and I had to pay taxes and filings and late fees going back 7 years before that. It was a real nightmare. And I was like, what is this? How can you possibly pay taxes in your IRA? And you sure can. And the tax code says, well, in certain cases, and real estate is one of those cases, you're going to be taxed in your IRA. And so we are shifting I've done it myself, shifted from the traditional Roth IRA to this QRP that you guys provide, and you guys do a great job with that. So anyone listening to this stuff, if you're investing with your IRA, I would encourage you guys to shift your IRA, at least find out about this. And you have this great free book on your website where it teaches all about the QRP. So if you're curious about that, the link is themichaelblanc.com/QRP, and you can get a free book that you send out as well. And if someone is ready to go, you can also schedule a call with you guys as well. So I'm feeling really strongly about that because I don't want my investors to have to pay taxes. And not only that, but the paperwork involved is ridiculous.
Yeah, and just, I mean, the high level thing is that the IRA, you can pay up to 37% tax, and with an EQRP, when you have the multifamily syndication investments, it's zero because it's exempt. So that's why this is so important to you guys that are investing in the syndication deals. It really is such a big deal to pay zero versus 37%.
Yeah. So just as a disclaimer, this is an affiliate link. So if you go to that, Damion will pay me a small fee for going there. Just want to say that up front. But I've known Damion for a long time. This is a really good service he's providing. And so we are literally encouraging all of our investors to move the IRAs to QRP. It's a very painless process. So the michaelblank.com/QRP to download his book, or actually request his book, or to schedule a call with his team. So Damion, thanks for being here and sharing these updates with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. And one other thing, when you guys request that book, you're going to get a report. It's going to be a very quick and dirty 18-page report. So just keep that in mind. You'll have access to information almost immediately.